His animosity seems to carry over from Uriah to you, to anybody that's on Team Alpha. Do you kind of take it personally when he says things like Alpha fail and, you know, everything he's kind of do to instigate?
No, not at all. I know that his beef is with him and Uriah. You know, I've hung out with Cruz, and you know we're fine with each other, but it's you know, we're gonna be fighting each other, so it's a good way to sell it, like I said.
As far as his personality, I mean, hear Uriah talk about him, and he seems to think that even if they weren't in the same business, he still wouldn't get along. Do you agree with his assessment of Dominick as a guy?
They're just completely different personalities. Their personalities just clash. You know, I wouldn't say that you know, Uriah's spot on with the way Dominick Cruz is. They just don't like each other. You know, I mean, no matter where they are in business or in fighting, they'd be enemies no matter what.
For the camps that Uriah had where it was preparing for Dominick, you were the one mimicking Dominick. So yeah. How much of his style do you think that you've actually soaked in?
You know, obviously I soaked in what he does and kind of made it my own. You can't copy exactly what he does. You got to be your own style fighter. But yeah, I've got to study him a lot. I had to, you know, be him, like you said, for Uriah's camps, and so I know what his holes are. I know what his weaknesses are because I was trying to coach Uriah into doing that. You know, and so I get to take that game plan into my fight.
A lot of people even said in the fight with Renan Barão that you looked a lot like Dominick Cruz. Would you say that's an accurate assessment?
I wouldn't say. I mean, yeah, I move my feet a lot. You know, I was hard to hit. I move my feet. That's what Cruz does. I feel like I was a little bit more technical with my stand-up and a little bit more dangerous with it as well. So, yeah, I feel like I'm as elusive as he is, but just a little bit better at it.
Did you ever wonder how anybody actually could fight like he fights? I mean, it's very awkward.
Yeah, he's got crazy footwork. That's why he's hard to hit. You know, his head's always moving, but I'm also going to take advantage of it as well.
How are things working with you and Dwayne Lowe now? I mean, how is that whole setup going to work now that he's got his own gym?
So far, I haven't trained with him because I've been out with surgery due to surgery. But you know, he's going to plan on start coming out here and there. I'm going to go to his gym as well in Colorado. But I'm trying to get him to move out when I'm 8 weeks out for my fight and just be there for my camp. Try to move him into my house and see if I can kidnap him.
You were saying yesterday that you watched it like Chad against Aldo, thinking that you could beat Aldo. Can you comment on that, like explain a little more? Yeah, just watching the fight against, I mean, I helped Mendez get ready to fight Aldo, and I feel like Aldo and Barão have a very similar style. They do the same things, and you know, I felt like the way I fight, it matches up really well against Aldo, and it was just me voicing my opinion on Team Alpha Male Radio that I thought I could beat Aldo, and then I was getting calls left and right about it. So yeah, just the belief in myself and thinking that I could beat the guy, and it would be awesome one day to eventually have 2 belts.
Did you see a thing, somebody put out an article a while back kind of analyzing how often people from different camps pull out of fights beforehand, and Team Alpha Male, I think, was the lowest percentage that you guys tend to fight when you say you'll fight. What do you think that is? Why is that?
I think the way we've prepared ourselves for the fights, we do it smart. I mean, I wouldn't say in the past we've always done it smart, but we've learned to, through trial and error, how to, you know, not get hurt in camp, not to go too hard towards the end of your camp and when you're getting close to your fight. And we're all taking care of each other. You know, we have a team that really cares about each other. We have no egos on the team, so no one's trying to hurt your teammate when you're sparring. And we're tapering each practice for that individual. So I feel it's, you know, a lot easier to not get hurt that way.
Well, we hear different kind of theories on sparring. I mean, how much sparring should you really do? I mean, are you a favor of or a fan of a lot of sparring, or do you think that people do too much of it in the sport?
There's a fine line. You know, I mean, you obviously have to do enough sparring when you first get in the sport to get comfortable. You know, when I first got to Alpha Male, we sparred quite a bit, and I think it helped me out because it got me used to getting hit, got me used to competing with the best in the world. But now we've had a little more structure to our practices. We don't spar as much. You know, I'd say once, maybe twice a week, and you know, I feel like that's plenty. Once you have figured out the game and you can work more on the technique and do a lot more drilling instead of going live and beating up your brain.
Do you think you and Barão are going to face each other again, like in the future?
I would imagine so. I mean, he's a great fighter. I'd imagine he's going to work his way back to the top, and you know, I'd look forward to seeing him again in the title fight.
How do you think he's going to do in his next fight?
He'll do good. I mean, he should come out aggressive, and he's fighting in Brazil, so I'm sure he'll be stoked about that. And you know, Gagnon's a tough opponent, but I just feel that Barão's a little more well-rounded than he is.
Any predictions for tonight?
Tonight, which fights?
I mean, the main 2.
The main 2. I'm picking Pettis to win. I feel that Melendez just isn't as athletic as he is. You know, he's a good brawler, brings the fight to you, but I think Pettis will pick him apart, use his footwork and his good technique to beat him. And I'm thinking Hendricks is going to come at this fight a little bit different. I think he'll use his wrestling pedigree a little bit more in this fight and take advantage of his strengths. You know, last time he fought Lawler where he's best, and I think he's learned his lesson. So I think it'll be a completely different fight, and Hendricks is going to win that one.
So everybody's going to keep their belts?
Yeah, I think everyone's going to keep their belts. Yep.